Story about how I almost got trafficked today. So I decided to walk. I decided to take a walk, and at first I was walking through the sidewalk, and I just couldn't take it anymore because I personally don't like. I just don't like being honked at. Almost every time I take a walk, I'm always getting honked at, or like someone's always calling out to me in their cars, like drive, focus and drive. And I was trying to avoid the attention. And even like prior to me avoiding the sidewalk, like always, there's this one car, like someone like made some kind of like noises at me, and it was just irritating. So yeah, I avoided the sidewalk and I decided to head towards the mall. And not knowing that the mall was closed, because the mall was already closing, like officially closing forever. But that's a different story. But I did not know that they were officially closed due to the fact that even though there was no cars around, I noticed that there was cars behind. So I was thinking that there might have been maybe like a few stores that might have been opened. But either way, behind the building was a little too quiet for me to even walk through. And I thank God that I did not do that, because as I was walking, there was a car behind me. He was driving. So like this side is the lane where the car will drive. It's like only two lanes. And then this is the side where it's like a whole parking lot, like a huge parking lot. And it has like a little bit of a hill, and there's cars driving. So even though I was walking there, I just felt that it's not that dangerous because there's still cars like passing by up the hill and they can obviously see me. Like, but so I was walking and he was like behind me but far away, and he was driving very slow, and it was just very suspicious to me. And I didn't want to make it look like I was like panicking, or like make it look obvious that I noticed that. So I just tried to avoid like turning back around, but I just kept like looking to the sides to see what's going on. And as he approached closer, somehow he managed to be way closer. He drove past me. He was literally beside me, but drove past me, and there was a stop sign ahead of me. And what I was trying to do was like walk past the stop sign and perhaps maybe go up the hill or something like that, or like just keep walking. But because he was there, I was just like rethinking, and I started slowing down. He saw me slowing down, so this time I'm behind him, and he saw that I was slowing down, and I'm just like rethinking my decision. I'm like, should I still approach the stop sign where he's at, or should I just like, what should I do? What should I do? And I just kept walking, and I was looking at his car, and his car had this like code, like these numbers on it. I honestly should have registered it and memorized it. As a matter of fact, I should have memorized his car plate number, but I was just caught off guard. But it's like, imagine, I've never been in a situation like that, and it's like you're now in the moment of like, what should you do? What should you do? Like, you don't know if he's gonna pull out a gun out of his car. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. And I just thank God, like, so this is what happened. Like, I was just looking at his car, and I see the person in the car. The person in the car was black. He's young. He seems young. He might have been in his late 20s, or might even be in his 30s. And the guy was breaking his neck. Like, he was at the stop sign. There's like no cars around. So it's like, drive. Like, just drive your damn car. Like, why aren't you going? Like, move your car. And he was not going anywhere. He just stayed put. And the dude was breaking his neck, looking right at me, and I'm like, I could literally see you. I saw him in his car, just watching me. And then at that moment, that's when I just turned around and started going the other opposite way. I started going up the hill. I started walking as fast as I could, not too fast, and I just didn't want to make it look too obvious. But the fact that up the hill there's cars around, it might have kind of like intimidated him or discouraged him to like follow along. And it's like a whole parking lot. So I started walking up the hill away from him, the opposite direction. And I was just irritated. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And I just kept walking, walking, walking. The guy stayed put. He wasn't moving. And I just kept looking again. I just kept looking to my sides to see if this dude was following me. And thankfully, I made it all the way up. and I just had my phone and I was pretending I was on my phone. I was just looking around to see where he was going, and the dude finally decided to like drive past the stop sign, and he was still going really slow, like as if he was up to something. He looked very suspicious. But it's like this day and age, it's very crazy and it's very scary because it's like it's just very irritating where you're just like minding your own business, going about your own business, and then someone's always out there to try to disturb your peace or try to harm you. Like it's just very irritating, and the guy's intentions might have been something different, but it's like why do you have to be a creep? Like honestly, like why? And there was like up the hill, like where the cars are driving, you can see me walking in the parking lot. So it might have been that he might have saw me from there and decided to drive where I was at, but it's like that's not why. Like what do you what was your intention? Like, so at that moment that's gonna startle me. Even if you had a different intention of your own, not to harm me, you had like a different agenda of your own, you don't do that. Like that makes you a creep. I was just very irritated. Like that scared me. And to think that I myself knew better than to walk in a whole place that's quiet. I knew a lot better than that, but I was just like I just want to avoid these people, the cars. I just want to avoid the cars. And it's like it just makes me think of the scenarios of how people get trafficked. Like these people be having reasons of their own, but it's like it's really not worth it, honestly. I knew a lot better than to do that, and now I'm never doing that again. Like it's crazy. I'm just very irritated. There's so many things that I could have done than to avoid that. I could have easily just kept walking on the sidewalk, but I didn't. So yeah, that just goes to warn and tell people that just because other people can get trafficked and you have never got trafficked, it one day it could be you. It could be anybody. And we just have to be very careful. And as for me, I always pray before I go out. I always make sure I pray before I go out, and I'm just very thankful that God just like protected me because Lord knows what might have happened. So yeah.